Hi, Math 8. So today we'll work with spheres and application problems. If at any time you need to work on a problem, just hit the pause and then I can make these videos a little bit shorter and easier to upload. So first, what I'd like you to do is review. Can you list the formulas for area of a circle, volume of a cylinder, and volume of a cone? The formula for the area of a circle is pi r squared. The formula for the volume of a cylinder, and I kind of draw a little cylinder there, is pi r squared. Oh, where have you seen that before? Right there, same exact thing. It's the area of a circle. And then times the height. And remember, the height is the distance between the two circles in the cylinder. Do you remember volume of a cone? Volume of a cone is equal to pi r squared times the height. Hey, where have you seen that before? Right there. And then divide by 3. Did you remember the divide by 3 part? Okay, so the new one we'll work with today is volume of a volume of a sphere. And the volume of a sphere is pi r cubed. And then it's 4/3 is the number that goes with it. Now, what are the units for each of these? Do you remember? Do you remember the units for area? The units for area are squared. Remember, we wrote the word area has 2 A's, and so maybe that can help you to remember that the units are squared. The volume of a cylinder, anytime you have volume, it's going to be units cubed. And maybe you can think of a big V with 3 dots on it. Maybe that can remind you that the units are cubed. So, since the volume of a cylinder is units cubed, the volume for the cone is going to be units cubed as well. And since spheres are also a volume, the units are going to be cubed. And they're going to get the units from the r cubed, because the r cubed is the only thing that will have units in it. Pi doesn't have a unit, 4 doesn't have a unit, and 3 doesn't have a unit. Up here, the reason that these are units cubed is you'll have 2 units here, one for each of the r's, and then you'll have another unit here timesing together for the third unit. So you have 2 here and 1 here. Same thing here, 2 here and 1 here. And the reason these are squares is because you only have 2 units here, 1 for each of the r's. Again, pi does not have a unit. Okay, so take a look at 2a. Write down the formula for the volume of a sphere. Plug into that formula. The formula for the volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. So you're going to multiply 4 times 3.14 times r's value, which is 6 meters, times 6 meters, times 6 meters. When you're done, hit divide by 3. It's always best to divide by 3 at the end. So go ahead, punch that into your calculator. You get 904.32. And notice how there's meters, 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 which gives you your meters to the third power. All right, Math 8, give letter B a try. Do you see how B is different? What will you do? Do you see it? So here you have volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. So you're going to have 4 times 3.14 times, is r's value 18? No, it is not. Here you are given D is 18. You are not given R. What is R's value? R's value is 9. Remember, you are given the diameter. It goes all the way across. You want R, which starts in the middle and goes to the outside edge. So your diameter is double what your radius is. So you're going to multiply this times 9 meters, times 9 meters, times 9 meters. And don't forget, very end, divide by 3. Hey, did you notice up here in volume of a cone, you divide by 3 as well? So you're dividing by 3 on both of these. Probably the biggest mistake, though, is kids don't multiply times r cubed. They only do times r squared. So make sure that you're using the units on these. It'll help you to catch that mistake. So go ahead, punch that in your calculator. Punch in 4 times 3.14 times 9 times 9 times 9. Then hit divide by 3. You get 3052.08, and you've got meters, 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 which is what gives you your meters cubed. And again, doing that meters times meters times meters, that's going to help you out tremendously. Okay, so it's not just like a step that wastes time. It helps you to see what's going on here, and also to make sure that you're not making that error of only multiplying by r squared. Okay, go ahead with letter C. If you want to, draw the picture. If not, just go ahead and use that value of r in your formula. Remember your formula for the volume of a sphere. And by the way, it's S-P-H-E-R-E, and it's not a sphere, it's a sphere. Just like you don't talk on a phone, you talk on a phone. That PH sound is an F sound. All right, so your formula, volume of a sphere, is 4/3 pi r cubed. And it's always best to hit divide by 3 at the end, because when you divide by 3, a lot of times you get a repeating decimal. And so sometimes somewhere within this problem, it'll work out better to where when you divide by 3, you don't have to worry about that repeating decimal. But if you do 4/3 right away, you've got some funky repeating decimal. Okay, so best to do 4 times pi, 3.14. And notice there are no units here. 4 is just 4. Pi is just 3.14, no units. It's when you get to the 7.2 that there's a meter. And one of the reasons why I write this out instead of writing 7.2 to the 3rd power is so that you can see what happens with those units. And then don't forget, when you're totally done, hit divide by 3. So when I punch that into my calculator, I get 1562.6649. Now, if it said to round to some place, go ahead and round to that place. But I didn't ask you to, so just give me the whole answer. And then don't forget, go back and do your units. Meters times meters times meters is what gives you meters cubed. All right. Turn to the next page. On page 2, you're finding the missing dimensions. This is that application part. So, write down the formula for what they're asking about. They're asking about the area of a circle. So, write the formula for the area of a circle. And remember, Math 8, don't quit till you're actually stuck. You're not stuck now. So, write your formula. Area of a circle is pi r squared. Always write your area formula. Always write your volume formula. Because if you don't know those formulas, you can't do the problem. So part of your task is to memorize those formulas as you go. So what are we given? We're given that the area of a circle is here, 200.96. So plug in what you're given. Put it in the spot marked area. It's going to go here. So you have 200.96. By the way, that's meters squared. That's equal to pi, which is 3.14. You don't know r, so you don't know r squared. And of course you don't know r because it says find the radius. Okay, so step 1, plug in everything you can. Now, this is an algebra problem. You've got your letters and your numbers. You need to get rid of that 3.14. How will you do it? This says times, so you do the opposite operation, which is to divide by 3.14. So punch in 200.96, divide by 3.14. Go ahead, punch that into your calculator. you get 64. And if you notice when you divide this, it doesn't do anything to the units. There are no units down here to cancel. So you still have those units of meters squared. And that's equal to your r squared. Are you done? No, because you need r, not r squared. So how will you figure out what r is? What's the opposite of squaring something? To take the square root. And remember, you do cancel, cancel. Then you're going to do the square root of 64. What's the square root of 64? 8. And by the way, you're also going to do the square root of m squared. And when you do that, that is where you get your m. So you end up with r is equal to 8 meters. And if you want to check this, take that 8 meters, plug it back in here, square it, times it by pi, you should get that 200.96. But final answer, r is equal to 8 meters. So Math 8, give letter B a try. What is the formula for the volume of a cylinder? Write it down. Volume of a cylinder is pi r squared times the height. Now, plug in everything you know. Plug it in where it goes. Plug in the volume of the cylinder and the spot mark volume of the cylinder. You know pi. You're also given the radius, so plug in the radius. What you'll be looking for and what you won't have a number for is the height. So put that 549.5 meters cubed in the spot marked volume of a cylinder. Put pi's value, 3.14, in the spot marked pi. Put r's value in the spot marked r. That's 5 meters times 5 meters. Make sure you multiply it times itself because you're given r squared. Then times that by the height, which is what you don't know because that is what you're looking for. So again, plug in what you know, where it goes, into the equation. Now, do that. Punch that into your calculator. Multiply 3.14 times 5 times 5. You get 78.5. And it's meters squared because that's what meters times meters is. And then that's times your height. Now, you're solving for height. So, this is your letter side and your number side. You need to get rid of height right there. I'm sorry, whoa. You need to get rid of, you need to leave height. You're solving for height right there. You need to get rid of the 78.5. So, how do you do that? It says times. What's the opposite of times? Divide. 78.5. So divide by 78.5. Okay, so go ahead, punch into your calculator. 549.5 divided by 78.5. You get 7. Now look what happens to the units. You have meters times meters times meters up here. This is m, m, m. And down here, you have m, m. There's 2 of them here and 3 of them here. And when you cancel, look what's left. 1 m on the top. Pretty cool. Remember your exponents? Pretty neat how that follows through here too. Math is kind of like that. When you understand it, it can follow through to other parts of mathematics. So final answer, 7 meters. And you are done because that is height. That is the HT. It's not HT squared, so you don't have to do anything else. All right, go ahead, Math 8. Give letter C a try. Write the formula for the volume of a cylinder. Not a cone, a cylinder. So same formula that you used in B. Pi r squared times the height. Now, how is this problem different? In this one, you're given the height, and you need to find the radius. So plug in everything that you know where it goes. Put the volume of the cylinder in the spot mark volume of the cylinder. Put pi in the spot mark pi. You know what pi is, 3.14. Now, You don't know r, so you do not know r squared, but you do know the height, and the height is 11. Now, what do? You are going to multiply this. So go ahead and multiply that. So you get 3454 meters cubed is equal to, when you multiply it, 3.14 times 11, you get 34.54. And that's meters. And then you have times r squared. Now, I need to solve for r squared. So r squared needs to stay. That 34.54 meters needs to go. How do you get rid of it? You divide by 34.54 meters. Divide by 34.54 meters. So go ahead, Math 8. Punch into your calculator. 3454 divided by 34.54. You get 100. Now, what are the units? Up here, you have meters, meters, meters. It's meters cubed. Down here, you have 1. So when you cancel them, what do you have left? You have 2 meters. So you have meters squared. And that's equal to r squared. Are you done, Math 8? Have you found the radius? No. You found radius squared. So you need to do inverse operation of squaring something. What is the opposite operation of squaring? To take the square root. So take the square root of both sides. What is the square root of 100? 10. By the way, what is the square root of m squared? Cancel, cancel. It's m. And what is the square root of r squared? Cancel, cancel. It's r. Final answer. And again, if you want to check these, plug back in to your regular formula. Plug in 3.14 times the value of r that you got, times itself, times the height that you were given. You should get that answer right there. And if you don't, you made a mistake. Possibly a calculator mistake. So go back in and punch that in your calculator a second time. All right. Go ahead, Math 8. Let's bump this up a notch and let's do cones. You need to write down the formula for the volume of a cone. Remember, volume of a cone is pi r squared times the height. And then what do? Yep, divide by 3. So punch in everything that you know, put it into each place, into its individual spot in that formula. You are given the volume of a cone, so put it in the spot marked volume of a cone. You are given the radius, so stick it in the spot marked radius. Okay, and again, Math 8, don't quit till you're really stuck. You're not stuck now. Plug things in where they go. Volume of a cone, 423.9 meters cubed. What is pi? 3.14. What is r? 9. Put that in twice because it's radius squared. What is height? You don't know because it actually says find the height. And don't forget, divide by 3. Now, this is going to be super similar to what you did on letter B, except that you need to divide by 3 as well. So do all of that. Punch it into your calculator. 3.14 times 9, divide by 3. You get 84.78. Now, I need to solve for height. So I need that height to be the last thing left there. So I need to get rid of this 84.78. How do you do that? Divide by 84.78. And let's bring those units along for the ride. See how those work. That'll help you with your exponents. So now punch into your calculator. 423.9 divide by 84.78. You get 5. And over here, you have height. Now, up here, your units are meters, 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 because it's meters cubed. Down here, your units are meters, meters, because it's meters squared. Cancel, cancel, and you're left with meters, which is the unit that you would expect for a height, just regular units. Okay, Math 8, let's go to the last page, letter E, and wrap this up. So, next we're doing a volume of the cone, but on this one, you're finding the radius. So go ahead, write the formula for the volume of a cone. Don't forget, divide by 3. That's one of the top mistakes kids make. They use the formula for the volume of a cylinder instead of a cone, and they forget to divide by 3. Now, put in its place everything that you're given. You're given the volume and you're given the height. You know pi. Plug it all in. Your height is 7. Now, Math 8, I want you to do all of that, just like we did with the cylinder. Punch in 3.14 times 7 and divide by 3. I got 7.326 repeating. So go ahead and leave that repeating. And then there's meters and r squared. So I need that r squared to stay. This is times. I need to get rid of that. The opposite of times is divide. So I'm going to divide by 7.326 repeating. And don't worry about that repeating. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Divide by 7.326 repeating. So punch into your calculator. 263.76. Now hit divide by 7.32 and then hit 6666666 and just fill your calculator with it. And magically, you get 36. And your units, so look at those units. This is meters, 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 and this is meters. Those cancel. You're left with 2 meters in the numerator, so this is meters squared. And that's equal to your r squared. Are you done, Math 8? No. You need r, not r squared. So what will you do? What's the inverse operation of squaring something? Yep. Take the square root. Take the square root. Square root of 36 is 6. Square root of r squared is r, because that cancels. And by the way, the square root of m squared, cancels, is m. Pretty neat how that all works out. Math is kind of like that. All right, now we're going to bring this up to the volume of a sphere. So, write the formula for the volume of a sphere. Volume of a sphere is 4/3 pi r cubed. The sphere problems kind of look hard, but they're really not, because there's only one way to do it. With the cones and the cylinders, you could either be given r and need to look for height, or you could be given height and have to look for r. With the sphere, the only thing that you can look for is r. So they're all basically the same exact problem. So go ahead and plug in everything that you know. Put your volume in the volume spot. I've got your 4/3 and then your pi, 3.14. And you don't know r, so you don't know r cubed. Okay, well, just like we did before, I want you to do all of that. Punch in 4 times 3.14, divide by 3. And by the way, this is kind of cool because it works out the same for every problem. Every single sphere problem, you will always be multiplying that same exact thing and dividing by 3. You will always multiply 4 times 3.14 divided by 3. So you will always get 4.186 repeating. And then you have r cubed. Now, I need r cubed to stay here, so I need to get rid of this. It is times opposite operation, divide by 4.186 repeating. Divide by 4.186 repeating. And there is no unit here. So go ahead and punch in your calculator. 904.32 divide by 4.186666666 and just fill your calculator. Now there are no units to cancel, so you get 216 and the m cubed stays there. And over here you have r cubed. Are you done? No. How will you get rid of the 3? You won't take the square root. What will you do? Yep. Take the cube root. Take the cube root. Now remember how to do that on your calculator. You're going to type in 2 and then the second function and then the caret key. 3, second function and then the caret key and then your number 216. That's 3 for the cube root. If you want to do square root, you do 2 second function caret key. But we want to do cube root, so type in 3 second function caret key. And then type in 216 and equal. Your answer is 6. And by the way, when you take the cube root of m cubed, you get m. Just like when you take the cube root of r cubed, you get r. Final answer. And if you want to check it, punch it into your formula. Do 4 times 3.14 times 6 times 6 times 6. Hit divide by 3. You should get that answer, that volume of 904.32. All right, Math 8. One more problem. Make it perfect. It's going to look super similar to letter F. The only thing different is going to be that number right there is going to go in the spot marked volume. Every other step is going to be exactly the same. Write your formula. Plug everything you know into the formula where it goes. Put your volume in the volume space. Now multiply all of that. You'll get that same exact answer up there. That 4.186 repeating. Divide by 4.186 repeating. And again, notice that there are no units here because these are just numbers. There's no unit here, no unit on pi. So there's no unit on this 4.186 repeating. Punch that into your calculator. There are no units to cancel, so you're left with that meters cubed still. Now, how do I get rid of that cube to get just r? Cube root. Cube root. And again, you're going to punch in 3, second function, caret key, and then 1728. And then hit equals. and you get 12. And when you take the cube root of m cubed, you get m. Take the cube root of r cubed, you get r. Final answer.